So thank you for inviting me to this seminar conference. First, I would like to thank Cittalia and Ernesto D'Albergo for this interesting project, because as far as I know, it is only one going on now at the European level on the question of national urban policies. The last one I was involved in was a few years ago by the Dutch government, I guess it was in 2004, when the Dutch government took over the presidency of the EU and putting cities, or wanting to put cities, the question of cities, in the agenda of the European Union. And a book came out of this research that Ernesto knows, which is called National Urban Policies in Europe. But this project at that time was not as, I would say, serious in terms of, let's say, of focus on analysis regarding urban policies in Europe. So I think this is very important, and I don't know if this book will be translated, or you have already a synthesis in English, but I think it should be, the whole book should be translated at least in English, or maybe in...
It is national policy responses to urban challenges.
No, but I mean this one. I mean this one. Okay. Just coming from what Alan Harding just said, I would say that France is a very, very different countries in different country in terms of thinking about urban policies or urban issues. I really believe that now, well, we have been doing a bit of everything. I mean, in all the four boxes that Ernesto showed us previously, and we keep on doing this, meaning that we are more and more maybe focused on explicit direct and explicit indirect measures of actions, but without any coherence at all. We may come to that in the various questions. France, I guess, has been very well known for what we call the politique de la ville, which is only a very minor aspect of urban policies in France. And we should not confuse politique de la ville with national urban policy, not to say strategy. But I will come back through, in trying to answer the 6 questions that Ernesto asked at the end of his presentation. Although he put them in a different order, but that's okay. So question 2, which was question 1 before, has to do with how urban issues are dealt with in the current political and institutional system or debate. I think that Alain didn't say that, but there's something which is very, similar between UK and France. It's the way we consider to treat the urban system. Meaning by that we have the capital, Paris, which as London has always been treated differently, and still now, and still very recently in the last few months. And also, and this differs greatly from Germany, Spain, and Italy, the urban system in France is very much centralized or concentrated on Paris. Paris is 1/5 of the national population, a bit like London. And if you take the Greater London Southeast, it's maybe it could be 1/4. So you have to keep that in mind when we talk about national urban policy. It's mostly national policy outside Paris. When we talk about urban issues in France, urban issues, you could almost translate urban by social. Social issues have been largely predominant even now and separated from economic issues in dealing with national urban policies. So social issues, more or less, you could say it's what we call politique de la ville, which is very place-specific, a direct area-based policy. But you could say also, so I think that we are one of the first countries in Europe to have developed such a policy from the early 1980s with the first socialist government. So 81, 82, that's the first laws regarding politique de la ville. But it's not at all a comprehensive policy. It's not even a policy. It's a series of measures that seems to change, as Alan told regarding England, when the government changes, and we have some social upheavals. So the first riots, urban riots in the early 80s in Lyon, for instance, and this was, and the answer, I mean, the government answer was to create instruments, tools, and measures to show, this was very highly symbolic, that the government was taking this situation into consideration. But so far, and even until now, there has not been any framework, but as I say, a long series of measures, piecemeal measures, and overspread on neighborhoods. I will come back to that later. And economic issues, such as economic competitiveness, for instance, and this is fairly different from the UK situation, were not on the political agenda until the last few years, I would say maybe until 2006, 2007, with the new government. Economic competitiveness now is on the national agenda, and I guess in 2006, 2007, these are kind of new, what we could consider new initiative, the initiative of Pole of Competitiveness, which is a national policy spread over the whole country, not only on cities, but mostly I would say on, I mean, these areas or poles of competitiveness are mostly located in urban areas. And we had also in between 2005 and 2007 an initiative of the government regarding economic competitiveness, which was a way to upscale the policies. I mean, it was a policy to try to coordinate or to, let's say, to influence local governments to cooperate at the macro-metropolitan level. Macro-metropolitan meaning, for instance, the cooperation between the agglomeration of Rennes with the agglomeration of Nantes. So it's not just a metropolitan area, but several metropolitan areas cooperating together to increase, I would say, their attractiveness at the national and European level. So this was a measure launched by the national government in 2005, which has been abandoned since. So just an initiative, but it lasted 1 or 2 years.